Hello, this is Hildron from the CC with my promised iBook G4 video. As you can see here, this is an iBook G4, an old Apple laptop before the MacBooks started coming into play, and the MacBooks represented Apple's switch to Intel for mobile products, such as their laptops, obviously, and then they did it with desktops. But this goes back to the PowerPC era with the G4 in it, and it's got the nice signature Apple white design, because they did a lot with white, of course. And this model, it's pretty old, but it still works well. It's pretty fast, especially since it's an old computer. It was good for its time. The battery doesn't last too long because it's kind of worn out now, but it's pretty good. So let's boot it up right now and take a look at what we've got. I believe I got Leopard on here. That is the highest version of macOS 10 you can install, because after that it was Intel only. So I have version 10.5.8 on here with some other great software, and I might install Linux or something on here. I'm not really sure. It depends if I can get the hard drive partition, because typically when I'm partitioning older hard drives, they have some problems with software. There's a couple errors that always happen. Okay, so here we are at the desktop. I gotta allow that to run, and that, and that. Yeah, I don't know why those keep coming up, but it's pretty strange. I've never seen that before, but this is an older computer. The person who recently owned it had 10.4 on it, and it just kept having problems, and it wasn't really compatible with certain things like digital cameras and stuff. That's because it was old, so I had an extra copy of Leopard that was never used, so I gave it to this person. We installed it, and they used the computer for a little while longer, and they just gave it back to me for free now because they got a different machine. So that's pretty cool. Alright, this looks pretty nice. We got the nice 3D dock, semi-transparent menu bar, the whole 9 yards. It is running the latest version of macOS 10.5, 10.5.8. We've got a half a gig of RAM in this thing and a 1.33 GHz PowerPC G4 processor. And on the side, we've got our cable modem input, and we've got Ethernet, Firewire 400, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and that looks like mini DVI out and audio out. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Applications, let's open that up. There's quite a bit of software that was left on here. We've got, looks like some sort of AOL software, AOL Instant Messenger, AppleWorks. This is like Apple's old iWork program. The iWork Productivity Suite used to be called AppleWorks, so that's pretty cool. ArcSoft Connect, I'm not really sure what that is. Some H&R Block software. We got Microsoft Office, so we've got quite a few things on here that are Office related. We've got AppleWorks and Microsoft Office. Netscape, it's kind of old school. I never even actually opened that up on here. Oh, looks like we got software update coming in here, but we don't need that right now. I can't get them to install anyway. I don't know why. So this thing does have an airport card in it that does work with a modern router. I've got a time capsule that uses Airport Extreme. It connects just fine. It's perfectly fast, considering this computer is pretty old. So let's take a look at AppleWorks. Very old software here. It used to run on the classic Mac OS, and of course this is a carbonized version. I think they never made it Cocoa, because they went over to, they made Keynote, then they made Pages, they made it all iWork, then they threw numbers into there, then they made iWork for the iPad, and all that great stuff. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, we kind of got that Mac OS 9 look with a little bit of aqua, because it's a carbonized application. And for those of you who don't know what that means, a carbonized application is a Mac OS 9 application that is tweaked to run on OS 10. And of course, that's not supported now because that's an old technology. So let's take a look at this. AppleWorks 6. Version 6.2.9, copyright 1991 to 2003. They still have support pages on the Apple website, but you obviously can't, like, call them up and say, hey, I can't make a spreadsheet. Can you help me out? Because that's not going to work. So I like using old software. I like going through a lot of old programs, especially using it on older hardware like this. But of course, if you've seen my previous posts about old hardware demos, you know that I have some things from the 80s, and it's even cooler using that even older hardware and software. But without further ado, let's take a look at this. Let's open up a drawing document. I've never used this program before. Not fully. I've opened it, and that's about it. Let's see what we can do here. Kind of brings you back to the whole MacDraw days. It's resemblant of that. Of course, it's more modernized. There, I made a box with a circle. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Not really. Let's not save that. Let's try something else. Presentation. So this would be like PowerPoint. There actually is PowerPoint on here, so we'll take a look at that. Wonder if there's like a theme selector or something. I have no idea. I've never used this. Let's see what we got here. Ah, this might be a theme selector, but maybe not. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing here. But yeah, you can make presentations on this. We'll go to a program I'm more familiar with. We'll not save that. We'll go to Microsoft Office 2004. And let's open up PowerPoint. So yes, we've got PowerPoint on here. It's installing fonts. It must not have been used ever since the system was updated. That's why it's probably doing that. But while it's doing that, I'll just show you that the wireless works pretty well in here. So let's open up Safari. Oh yeah, and the hard drive is about 40 gigabytes. I've got about 14.5 gigabytes free on here. It plays music just fine. Good built-in speakers considering how old this thing is. And it plays video pretty well too. And of course you can also play DVDs on it because it's got a DVD drive. Alright, so we're loading up the Apple home page here. Excuse me, the start page. Yeah, trust me, it goes faster than this when we're not installing something in the background. Which it should be done with hopefully sometime this year. So we have a web page open. We can peruse around. I believe multi-touch scrolling works. It's going kind of slow right now. And so we can just click on something. Let's see. Ah, yes, Apple released Final Cut Pro 10 version 10.0.3. Find something, click, and it'll bring us right to that. Good update, by the way. It's a very good program. The update made it a lot better, I'll tell you that. So yes, it's about this speed. It takes a while to load web pages with a lot of images on them when you scroll because, hey, it's an older computer, what can I say? When Tiger was on here, it actually had a couple kernel panic issues, so I don't know if the user just had some bad stuff installed on here or whatever was causing it, but when Leopard was installed, there were no problems, so that is good. I also tried this on YouTube with Flash video. I don't remember how it worked with HTML5, but I'm sure it was pretty bad because this is an old computer. Flash works like at 240p. Anything higher than that, you're going to have a couple of lag issues considering this thing is a single core computer. Okay, so here's PowerPoint. This is Office 05, like I was saying earlier. Sure, you can have permission. So I think if we go to, we could probably get a template here. Okay, here's our slide. Here's where we can choose a. Oh, here's our slide. Here's where we can choose a theme. We could switch it to this one. I think it just automatically changes. There we go. So we could choose that. We could choose a little beach theme here. I remember using this. I used to use Microsoft Office on the Mac a bit, just because I used Microsoft Office on Windows, so I just used it on the Mac. But I really like iWork a lot better than Office. That's my personal opinion. It's also a lot less money. Here's some other themes here. So yes, PowerPoint works on here. It's fine. Like I said, there's also AppleWorks. There's other Office applications. There's Word and Excel. So let's close that for now, because this computer's only got a half a gig of RAM in it. You do anything else with a big program like PowerPoint open, you are not going anywhere. And we'll discard the changes. Okay, let's open up Netscape. Older web browser. I don't know why it's on here exactly, but it is. I didn't remove anything when the person gave me the computer. I don't plan on removing anything. Holy cow, does that look old school. Let's not register. Do I need to sign in? Netscape offers... Yeah, I don't care. Can you bring me to a web page? I have like Netscape 2 on a Power Macintosh 6100 on Macintosh System 7.5. That's just... I was able to open it, but not connect it to the internet, obviously. But yeah, as you can see, it's kind of got an old school look here, but Netscape was, I believe, the first web browser, Netscape Navigator. So let's see what version this is. 7.2. This one's copyright 2000, 2004. But yeah, this goes way back. Look, Macromedia Flash Player. Wow, this one says Macromedia Flash Player instead of Adobe Flash Player. That just shows you how old this is. But Netscape Navigator goes way back. It was, I believe, the first web browser. So let's test a website. Let's test our website. thecomputerclan.com. There we go. And let's see how this old thing renders a modern web page. It probably won't be too bad. Of course, the screen size is a little small, but that's expected. So yeah, here's our website on Netscape Navigator. Okay, speaker quality. I told you it was okay for a computer that's this old, obviously. And back then, it was a great thing to have for the price. And I've got an iTunes library on here, so I'm going to get some of our music and play it, because I like to follow copyright. And I want to keep this video copyright compliant. Let's say compliant. Don't download because it doesn't work. We'll go full screen there. Let's go to... I don't think all of our music is actually on here. I don't think I transferred all of it. Oh, wait, it actually might be. Let's go to the Apogee Concerto. And we'll play Lunar Eclipse. So I can pump up the sound here. Probably can't get it too high, though. So it sounds pretty good. It's an older computer. You obviously can't hear it as well as I can over the video, but trust me when I say it's pretty good for a computer that's this old. It's pretty good for a computer that's this old. Alright, so that's like some orchestral music. Let's try maybe something that's more rocky. Let's see. Access denied from the Computer Showdown soundtrack. Let's go to a... There we go. Electric guitar section there. So yeah, not a whole lot of bass. You can obviously turn up the bass, but it's probably not the most ideal thing. Let's test the graphics performance with the visualizer. It's probably not... Oh, actually, I stand corrected. It actually is pretty smooth. Let's go full screen in that. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't really mention or test out. The graphics performance for this resolution is pretty good. For the visualizer, at least. Nice. That was unexpected. Okay, so you've seen the software on it, you've seen the operating system on it, you've seen the computer itself. Let's go a little more in depth into its specifications. Let's open up the system profiler. Alright, we know it's a half gig of RAM, 1.33 GHz G4, but what else does this lovely old school thing have to offer? Well, let's see. Alright, graphics. ATI Mobility Radeon 9550. Alright, so it's ATI, kind of expected that. Yes, we do have Airport in here, Airport Extreme, so the wireless card does work with modern base stations. And the type of memory here, we've got... Oh, it doesn't tell me what type, apparently. It just says built in, but okay. It's half a gig, I know that for sure. Let's make sure the diagnostics are passing. Yes, the power on self-test is passing. So, everything looks all good here. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to get this thing to last, but hopefully a long time. I've got some computers from 1987 that are still running just fine. So, I'm trying to make sure I didn't really forget much. I don't think I did. I don't think I have like iLife or anything on here. I got to get to installing that, but... Oh, I've got iPhoto actually. Yes, but I don't have iMovie or any of that stuff. I took that off because the person who was using it didn't use those programs and they needed hard drive space, so I'm like, oh, we'll just take off iLife, except for iPhoto because they use that. But you'll see more older iLife applications when I do the iMac G4 demo, because I've got old stuff installed on there. I've got an old version of GarageBand on there, an old version of iWeb on there, two old versions of iMovie on there, an old version of iPhoto. I might have actually updated iPhoto on there. I have LiveType on there. I have Final Cut Express on there. I have a lot of old programs on there. I have like 3 different operating systems running on that thing too. So that should be an interesting demo as well. Okay, so this is iPhoto 09, I believe. Yes, I remember updating that for the customer who wanted this computer updated. Sorry, I've got no photos in here, but this is what the older version looked like. It's way different than the newer version. And if I do have an even older version on one of my older computers, I could show you that later. I know I had an older one on my G4, but on my iMac G4, but I'm not sure if it's there still. Because the old interface on iPhoto, it was good at the time, but it's absolutely crummy now, I'll tell you that. Okay, so I believe that's all I've got to show you on the iBook G4 here. And I hope you enjoyed. look out for the iMac G4 demo coming up in the future. That should be pretty much the same for a few things, except obviously the design is different. It should be a lot more fun software-wise because I've got more things on there and I've got more operating systems. I've got Linux on there too. So we'll shut this down for now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.